And welcome to Flosstube. My name is Megan, and this is my little channel on YouTube where I talk about cross stitch because that's my hobby. That's pretty much my only hobby because I am in a reading funk. Sadly, I finished no books in May. Like, I didn't start any books, I didn't finish any books, I've just been coasting. So, hopefully I can change that. Uh, May was a crazy busy stitching month for me, and I don't mean like I stitched a lot. Although I guess I kind of did, but I stitched on more projects than I normally do. Normally I have like, 4, but I touched a lot of my active whip, so I'm actually really happy that I get to show you so many things this time around. Most of that is due to the fact that the first weekend I spent at Stitch North, which I'll talk more about later, but spoiler alert, it was an amazing weekend, as it always is. And then I had the very lucky happenstance to be able to be at my parents' cottage for like a week and a half because the office where I work we were moving and they needed everybody to work from home. And I was like, oh, if I can't be in the office, then why am I in the city? Let's go away. So because I was up north, there's not much to do other than stitch, so I got a lot of stitching in while I was up north as well. So I'll show you everything. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show it to you in order though. Maybe I can try. That'll just mean that I'll be kind of rustling through some stuff. You know what? I kind of feel like I should probably show you in order. Sorry, because I've decided that this is my new favorite filming location. It's right by the parking lot. Like, this is my window to the parking lot where the light comes in, but that means I can creep on people. So if I'm distracted, that's why. Tangent. Already, I'm 2 minutes in and I've already gone off on a tangent. Sorry. Okay. Let's get started. My first project that I stitched on, actually, that's not true. I didn't stitch on this first, but I did stitch my quota on this. So those of you who are new, I am stitching 4 GeckoRouge kits that are related to each other. They're all designed by Sandra Vargas, and they are all owls. They look like this. Well, they don't all look like this, but this one looks like this. And this is the Spring Boho Owl by Sandra Vargas, charted by GeckoRouge. And these are kind of I stitch 1 per season in the season that it is. So like, it's technically spring right now, even though it doesn't feel like spring. It feels strangely like October where I am, but that's fine. I'm stitching this in April, May, and June. So I have 1 more month of stitching this before I switch to the summer owl. And my goal for these is to get a page finish for the year on all 4. And basically the page finish is all background. And once I finish that page, the whole top row is finished. Probably about there and up. So I'm very excited. And then I think I've decided to take a break from these boys or folks next year. Just because I've been stitching these for 4 years straight. And next year is also a full page of background, and I feel like 4 times 4, that's a lot of background. So, another tangent. We're doing well. We're averaging 1 tangent per 2 minutes. We're doing good. Anyway, Sandra Vargas. So I stitch on this. I stitch on this every day for 50 stitches a day. But I don't really, because I usually sit down and I, pop out the entire week's. Like, I'll stitch 350 stitches on this in a go, and then that's my stitching for the week to try and get the page finish in time for the end of June. And I'm still on track, so here we are with the Boho owl. I think this is the first time I've shown an owl that's not done yet, but it's not in my frame. Wild. This is going right into my frame once I finish this video. So as you can see, it's perfectly centered. I do such a good job of centering my stuff. And I just have that little diagonal chunk left. And then this one's done. Well, ish. Done for now. And then I move on to the summer one. So this will be my focus piece for probably the first while in June. and then she's done. She, he, they, my boy. So I stitched 50 stitches a day, so 50 times 31. Except the last day I stitched 68 stitches to get it to an even amount. Or no, I had to finish a diagonal, so I stitched 18 extra stitches. So we are ahead of schedule. And it lives in a bag that my mother made me, a little owl bag, and it's got this on the inside, and this as the little like buddy bag, and it has a boondoggle on the zipper. So I have that coming up in June, but that is sort of what I stitched on. I didn't stitch on it first, but it's my primary stitching piece every month until it's done. And then I can happily move along to something else. I'm going to put that over here so I don't get confused. Okay, so then fast forward, not at all, rewind to Stitch North. So Stitch North, if you don't know, is a stitching retreat hosted in Ontario, Canada, and it's like an hour away from where I live, so it's incredibly convenient for me and my mom to go. And technically it's like kind of 3 full days, Friday, Saturday, well, I guess it's 2.5 days. Friday, Saturday, and half of Sunday. But a lot of folks will show up on Thursday night to stitch before the ballroom opens. So I planned on having 3 projects to stitch while I was at Stitch North. And that's what happened. Nailed it. So the first one that I stitched, I'm just going to make sure that I'm showing you the right one. I am. The first one that I stitched is my, this is also in a bag that my mother made me. It doesn't have a boondoggle. It has this weird thing. I'm not sure. It's not even on, it's like one of these, but I don't even really know why I put it there because the sound bothers me every time. It's fine. We do irrational things. It's totally cool. So the first piece that I stitched on at Stitch North was my Heaven and Earth design, June Blooms, charted by, I'm going to try that again. June Blooms, artwork by Margaret Morales, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. She has made an appearance. This is my ride or die piece. This is my most favorite piece that I'm stitching is June Blooms. I've been stitching on her for 4 years. I think I started her in 2021. I never really remember, but she's coming along quite nicely. I think she's just over 33%. I don't have my tablet with me, but I think that's where she is. At Stitch North, I was able to stitch almost 1,000 stitches on her. So I kind of wrapped up a column and started a new column. And anyway, I'm pretty close to, look at that, I'm pretty close to, so now I'm out of her face, and this is all just flowers and more flowers, so it'll be a while till I stitch her face again. But look at her, she's so beautiful. Ugh. Every time I pull her out, I'm always like, yes. And Heaven and Earth Design was having a Memorial Day sale for Memorial Day weekend, obviously. And there's another Margaret Morales piece that I love the colors of. And I thought about it because, it was on sale. But I feel like I would be cheating on June if I bought another Margaret Morales. So I'm going to just keep, maybe once her face is done, I can justify investing in another Margaret Morales piece if they're still on Heaven and Earth Design. But, yeah, I looked at it. It's in my cart. It's in my wish list, and it was in my cart. And I was this close to clicking yes, and then I didn't. So that was day 1 of Stitch North, was June Blooms. She's always a very popular piece. When I pull her out at Stitch North, people just, she's stunning, so why the heck not? But people really do just come up and they're like, wow, she's beautiful. And I'm like, girl, I know. You don't have to tell me. That's why I'm doing her. Yeah. And then, so then the second day of Stitch North, I decided let's just keep stitching HAEDs. So I stitched my stitching shelf piece. This is in a Samply Stitched tote bag. Project bag. It doesn't have her tag on it like it normally does, but I'm pretty sure this is Jen. So yeah, so this is my stitching shelf. It looks like I really didn't get much stitched on this at all. Okay, so history on the stitching shelf, in case you're new. I started this project years ago. Years and years and years and years and years ago. And it just wasn't jiving with my brain at the time. I was using paper. I hadn't found Pattern Keeper yet. And I wasn't having a good time. And then I was doing a tote clean out, I think last year at some point. And I refound it and I thought, you know what? Let's grind it. And so I finally put it into Pattern Keeper, got myself up to the pattern, and I've stitched quite a lot. I mean, obviously not a lot, but a fair chunk. So the way that I'm stitching this is I'm stitching it bottom to top. So I'm starting at the bottom and I'm working up my way up to the top because the pink is at the top. Except I think I'm going to change that. Once I reach the top of this column, I think I'm going to change it because the way it sits in my frame is that like all of this stitching kind of ends up in my lap. And I think it would be better if the fresh stitching like fell over the top of the frame. Or I could be an adult and buy those things that people use to like wrap their stuff a little bit more tightly to their frame. But here's where I am with this. So I'm stitching it bottom to top, and I'm stitching it like a page wide by a shelf tall. So like this is a page wide, but more than a page tall because I'm trying to capture the whole shelf at once. And I'm stitching this shelf kind of cross country. Not kind of cross country, very cross country. Starting with like obviously 310. I'm doing it the Kim Hollenbach way because I was obsessed with her. I still am obviously obsessed with her, but last month I just watched like every video of hers that I could, and she stitches some of hers like cross country style. So I'm giving it a go, and I do like it, but I think once it gets more confetti, like once I changed my colors to go like from descending order in terms of like amount. And I think once I get to the ones where it's like 2, I might just continue, like go back to my up and down method of stitching. But I didn't get very much stitched on this. I got like, what is that? Not quite 400 stitches on this on the Saturday, across the Saturday and the Sunday. So I really didn't do a lot on this. But, progress is progress. I still have a long way to go, obviously. I think I don't even know if this is past the 10% mark yet, to be honest. I don't have my tablet with me. But my mom is also stitching this piece, kind of. She started in the exact opposite corner from me. So she's stitching it like, I guess, the normal way. So that was my stitching shelf. Lovely. Okay, and then I stitched on... Oh, wait, I have a story about this one. I have a story about all of them, but this one's important because it's new. If you watched my last video, you'll know that because of Kim Hollenbach, I discovered that there was like a Stitches So Beautiful Facebook group that if you posted your weekly stitching update to the group, you would receive a free pattern, and but you have to stitch a Stitches So Beautiful piece. And so I went on a hunt for a Stitches So Beautiful piece, and I found one, and he's so beautiful. I'm so happy. And so I was all ready to start it at Stitch North. And I do think you have to stitch a minimum of 250 stitches, and I'm stitching 10 stitches, which I don't know if that counts, but I'm stitching 10 stitches. And I've never stitched 10 before, so it's sort of tricky to wrap my brain around that you only have to do one. But I started it at Stitch North. I bought the fabric at Stitch North, so I bought a piece of fabric from Rolanda. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm so happy with the fabric. Except I bought a 32 count thinking that that's what I liked, but I'm doing 1/1/10 stitch, and it's like tiny. It's tinier than I wanted. So I think I probably should have bought a 25 count fabric. But it's okay. We're going to, you know, this is not a piece that's like a hyper-focused piece, especially not right now. So for the month of May, like I did stitch the 250 stitch minimum. Like I usually got more closer to 500 stitches in the week. And I posted my comments, but I think I was off by a day, so I don't actually know if I'm going to qualify for the pattern. The pattern for the month of May was like a really cute Highland cow. It was really cute, but like I might not have ever ended up stitching it, so I'm not hurt by the loss. And the June pattern is not appealing to me at all, so I don't think I'm going to aim to do those stitches in the month of June. I'm just going to let that one coast for a little bit. But the pattern is called Fantasy Owl. And I think it might be AI art. And I have some floss drops that are coming for this piece eventually. But here's the fabric. That is showing up so nicely on camera. It's like a really pretty yellow and purpley kind of blend. And the owl has like pinks, purples, blues, yellows. So I thought like it went really well because it's obviously going to take me a trillion years to stitch it. So I might as well not like the fabric I'm stitching it on. And I did a little test swatch. So like this is 2/1 and this is 1/1, both tint. And I ended up going with the 1/1 because I think the 2/1 was just a little bit too chunky for my liking. So this is where I'm at, which is actually pretty good, to be honest. I started off stitching it diagonally because everybody seems to be stitching their full coverage pieces diagonally, but I was kind of losing my mind a little with stitching tent and a diagonal. I think that was too many changes for my small brain to understand at the same time. So I did kind of have it as a diagonal for a second, and then I went back to my up and down because I really like that. But this is a whole page. That's how tiny. And I also think that the pages are a little bit smaller than a Heaven and Earth design pattern is, but that's a page, and that's the next page. Like that's how tiny it is. So yeah, but he's 1/1 10 stitch with the DMC that I'm slowly building. Like I didn't have all of them when I started, and I shouldn't do it that way. I really should take the time to like get all the DMC, because as I was stitching, I was missing a bunch of colors, and so I'm like, oh, now I have to like wait. And anyway, so I stitched quite a few stitches on him. What did I stitch? Give me 1 second. I stitched 5, 1,000. I probably stitched close to 3. No, that's too generous. 1,500. I probably stitched close to 2,500 stitches. I think this is pretty close to 2,500 stitches. I'll bring them in a little bit better so you can see nothing. You can see the colors. See how pretty the colors are? Yeah. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that. But I don't think I'm going to stitch it in the month of June. Like I said, I'm not interested in the Stitches So Beautiful pattern. It's like a stained glass, flowery type one, which doesn't hit me in the eye needs. So, yeah, he can just chill. He was a surprise start anyway. And that kind of gives me maybe some time to actually get everything kitted up properly and all that jazz. I bought this bag at Stitch North by Samply Stitched. Jen, look at it. It's like fantasy. It's like books and stuff. And I got this. She's got a little book charm. It's so cute. But I told myself I was saving up to buy a bag from Jen. And I bought a bag from Jen. I'm a lady of my word. What should I show you next? Let me see. What's next? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, I'll do that one next. So then, this is a Samply Stitched bag again by Jen. I bought this at the October Stitch North from last year. Alice in Wonderland, who is my jam. It's my favorite story of all time, is Alice in Wonderland. In here is my Owl Forest embroidery piece that I'm stitching. This one is Sparkling Spring. So because your girl likes a series, this is like a series of 4 seasonal pieces that look exactly like this. Like they're all squared off like this. Obviously one for every season. And I stitched the winter one in the wintertime, and now it's spring. So I have this spring one now. And it's stitched with the Owl Forest embroidery. God, I feel like I have I feel like my tongue is too big for my mouth right now. Over dyed floss that you get from Owl Forest Embroidery, and I bought pieces of fabric that are not this fabric, but the 4 pieces that I bought are the same fabric so that they match when they're all done, and the flosses all looked okay on the colors, or on the fabric. So that's what I'm stitching. I'm trying really hard not to care. So unfortunately I seem to thrive better when I'm more regimented in my stitching. Don't ask me. I don't really know. And so, like, you know, I have my owls, and I need to have page finish by the end of the year. And then previous years, like, I always had like a monthly stitch that I have to finish, and all of these rules. And my mom thinks I'm crazy. So then I have this piece now, and there's 4 of them, and so I would like them to progress at the same speed. But the motifs are all a little bit different, so it's kind of hard to do that. And so I'm trying to let it go and approach these pieces laissez-faire, where whatever I stitch is whatever I stitch, and then, you know, hopefully it all just comes out in the wash and they all get finished at the same time anyway. If that makes any sense. I probably sound like a rambling buffoon, but here we are. We're doing well. So here's where I am with this one. I think the last time I pulled this out, I had the center motif done, the robin's eggs. This is really hard to hold. I had the center motif done and these flowers. So in the time that I sat down to stitch, I finished everything else, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty good. That's 850 stitches. So that's pretty good. Yeah. This one also has 2 different colors of green, which you can't tell. But this green is different than this green. No, I don't remember. But yeah, so I think I did this first, and then this, and then I came down and I did this, and then I did that, and then I did this. So it's coming along. It's kind of just the first layer, I guess. So yeah, so the fabric is like a linen, I think. And the color, like, I don't love stitching on brown. But you know, it kind of made the most sense with all the different seasons that I've got. So, like, here's one of their overdyed threads. Isn't that really pretty? Gray to pink variegation. Except it doesn't really variegate, it just sort of jumps very, very abruptly from gray to pink. But they're really nice to stitch with. So there's that one. Then, let me check. Hold on, let me check. Oh. So, if you tuned in to my previous video, I had a mini tangent where I talked about a Christmas piece that I'm stitching, the Shannon Christine Designs like Christmas mug stitch along from last year. And then I'm having a problem with it. Kind of. Like, I told myself at the beginning of the year that I was going to stitch this piece for the weekend that fell closest to the 25th of the month. And then last month I had an existential crisis about how I didn't want to stitch this for that much time because it felt like I was taking time away from projects I would rather be stitching. And then I told myself I was being silly, like, just stitch your Christmas piece. It's your only Christmas piece. And so I decided that I was only going to pull it out on the 25th. So it only got 1 day of stitching, and I felt like that was a pretty healthy compromise. I still stitch it because I do like it. Like, I made it seem like a villain last time. It's a really cute piece, and the colors are really nice, and I do really like stitching it. When I was stitching it last month, I thought, wow, I really could be stitching anything else. So I pulled it out on the 25th this month, and I wasn't mad about it at all. I was very happy to stitch it on the 25th. But then as I was going along, I realized that somewhere along the line, in this block, this white one here, I've miscounted. I've miscounted somewhere along the bottom, and I'm not sure what happened. And I had stitched this for a good chunk of the 25th, because I think the 25th was a Sunday in May. Where is my needle? It feels like I'm being stabbed. Oh, there it is. It's on the back. Good. Anyway, I stitched it on the 25th. I was being a really good girl. And I thought, oh, like if I can just get some of the frame done or even the full frame done, like I'll be a happy little camper. And then I tuned back into the process, and I realized that I'm off by something somewhere. And I was just so, I was so upset. And I was like, you know what? I might be admitting defeat on this, which sucks because like I really do like it, but I think because of last month, me having this existential crisis, and then now it's mad at me, I think I need to put it in timeout for a while until I come back around to figuring out what I did wrong with the white. Like it's somewhere on the bottom here. So, but like that's so cute. And this mug is a penguin, and he's also really cute. But no, I think I'm just gonna put it in timeout for now, and then I'm not gonna worry about it. Actually, I'm gonna take that needle minder off so that I don't, in case I need it for something else. Yeah, so the mugs is going away. The mugs are going away for the time being until I get over myself and decide to go back and frog and restitch that. So I don't even know how many stitches I got on this. I didn't bother. I think it was close to 300. But this is also in a Gen bag. So if I find another Christmas pattern that I like, then I might just totally DNF this and just stitch a different Christmas piece. But for now, I just can't. I'm so upset. So it's in timeout. And then okay, so now I have a story for you. So how do I want to word this? Because I was up north with my mom, like we just stitch, like we don't watch things together. We just sit in the same room with our headphones in, watching our own things, but stitching at the same time together. So I was able to catch up a lot on Flosstube. And in doing so, I realized that it is Amiee, or was Amiee, which I didn't know was a thing. Now I do. And it got me thinking, like, I don't have a Mira. I don't have an active Mira. But I do have an active Bella Filapina, which is almost the same thing because they're ladies and they're pretty and they've got beads and stuff and things. And so I decided that I was going to stitch on I have two. So I decided I was going to stitch on one of my Bella Filipinas because I had my New Year New Start was Tala. I should be showing you these things. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay. So my New Year New Start this year was Tala. The Deity of the Stars by Bella Filapina. And I started her in January, and I did like the bottom of this dress, and then I think I stitched her again a little bit in February, and I kind of got the purple and gold done. And then I haven't touched her since because I've been so obsessed with, well, A, I didn't have the time because I was busy with work, but then B, I was also really obsessed with my full coverage pieces. But then watching Flosstube, I thought, oh, it's Amiee. Like, I should be trying to stitch on a Amiee piece. And I know, a Amiee adjacent piece. And I thankfully had brought her with me when I went up north. I just kind of grabbed her because I was like, I haven't really touched Tala for a while. And I started the other one, Hanan, last year, but she's got a fair chunk done. So I decided I would do Tala and do Tala this time. So I pulled her out while I was up at the cottage, and I got a lot done. This is a mess. I'm going to fix this, and then I'm going to come back and show it to you. Back. I had, like, weirdly just not finished the stitch, and the needle was just sitting in the stitch. It's fine. It's fine. I was stitching this late last night, so I was probably really tired. Anyway, okay, so I pulled her out while I was at the cottage so that I could get in some work for Amiee. And did I get in some work? So everything that's blue or teal I've done since you saw her last. And obviously those purple ribbons and the tips of her 2 wings is all new, I think. Oh, you know what? That's not true. That's not true. I had done something before. Hold on. We're getting there. She's too big. I think maybe I had done some of this. Did I? I feel like I had a tip of the wing done. I did. I had a tip of the wing done when I pulled her out. But then the rest of it, like all of this is new. This ribbon, this wing, and everything up to here is new. So I actually got this part of her dress is across 2 pages. And so technically, aside from beading, the bottom 2 pages are done. So yeah, so she's coming along. So I stitched on her for like a solid week. Like I stitched a lot on her. What did I do? I did 1,502, 3, probably did close to 4,000 stitches on her this last week for Amiee. Yay. And so where I've stopped, can I do this? Oh, it's tape. So once I finished these pages, I stitched this ribbon all the way to the top, and it kind of ends just where her skin is going to start to come in. And then I stitched all the blue on this side of the ribbon. So hopefully I remember that when I pick it up next time, I want to try and finish I wonder if I should come do this green thing first and then finish the wing. Well, regardless, I want to finish what's on this page first. So the page kind of cuts right here. So I want to finish this chunk first, and then I'll move on to this chunk, and then this part is on a different set of pages. So this is 2/2 full cross, which to do all 1/1 stitching for the most part for the entire month, and then stitch nothing but 2/2 for the second half of not the second half, but like for a full week, it was actually kind of refreshing. So yeah. So she's going to go away because it's no longer Amiee, and I need to kind of start back up on my regularly scheduled programming. The fabric is the called for fabric. It's by Be Stitched Me, and I think it's called Cosmos. It's actually not fully the called for. The called for fabric was opalescent. But I just thought there's going to be beads and sparkling thread, so maybe not the opalescent. But the fabric is so yummy. It's so nice. I want to say it's 32 count as well, but I'm doing 1/1. And that is everything I've stitched in the month of May. Go me. I'm going to do plans. I don't really have a lot of haul. I mean, I know I went to Stitch North, but like everything I bought at Stitch North, I've kind of already showed you. I bought the fabric for the owl, and I bought a Tiny Modernist pattern. But I put that away already. I'm so bad at this. I bought a Tiny Modernist pattern like I do every single year, and I haven't stitched a single one since I started collecting the Stitch North patterns. I bought a bag. I bought some fabric. I didn't buy any floss. Yeah. So my plans for the month of June are finishing my spring owl, the pink one. Then I want to get some more done on the Owl Forest embroidery piece. But then I'm not stitching the mugs anymore. I've given up on the mugs. And I'm not stitching the Stitch is So Beautiful piece this month because I don't care. hair. So maybe I could get a lot more on June. I can get more done on June blooms. Or the stitching shelf. That could be good. That would make me happy to do more on my full coverage pieces. So in this month of May, there's 2 floss tubers that I would like to shout out. The first one is the Max Color Stitcher. I think her name is Anne. She's from Australia. And she stitches only full coverage pieces. And she, like, I'm so jealous. The same jealousy issue I had last video for Kim Hollenbach, I now have for Kim Hollenbach and also Anne at Max Color Stitcher. Because I want to stitch the way she stitches. So she stitches, what does she call it? The Stitching Mommy way, typewriter style. She stitches like 10 by 10 blocks in a row all the way across the pattern. So instead of doing like pages, she does rows. So like her pieces are just like slowly filling out and it looks so cool. And so I binged all of her videos because they're only like 15 minutes long. And so I've watched all of them. So like it's really cool to just like see the same thing, but like it's just a little bit more. And she does this really cool thing where she's stitching 1,000 stitches per piece, and then, although it sounds like she gets 1,000 stitches in a day, which, like, girl, I'm so jealous. But so she's stitching 1,000 stitches on each piece, and then moving on to the next one. And I just, watching her stitch, I realized that I really do like regimental stitching. I really do like